Good morning. Welcome. It's Mary Winters. I'm a gerontologist, the owner of About Senior Solutions, and you are watching Visionary Aging. We have a fantastic show for you today. We have a great birthday, and we have a fantastic caregiver question, but we have a fantastic guest. Dr. Adra Navarro is on with us, and she is the directing manager for the USC Verdugo Hills Hospital Resource Center for Aging. I got it all out. And if you think that there's something that you might need or some direction or some support, she's got it covered, and she has a fantastic team to walk you through that too. So let's go ahead and we will do a caregiver question. Let me see if I can find our intro for our friend Stephen here, and here we go. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So what kind of a caregiver question did we get today?
Oh, a very good question. It comes from one of our viewers, and her mom is in need of some care, but the viewer's sister has power of attorney.
Okay.
And she thinks that her mom definitely needs more care. The sister's not willing to do it, and the mom doesn't think she needs more care. But to the viewer, she thinks it's pretty obvious. So she wants to know what are her alternatives? What can she do?
Well, she could call our office, or she could call Dr. Navarro's office too. I think it's kind of interesting because oftentimes the senior will push away the support or the help that they need. And sometimes the person might be a little too close to the situation. So it could be either way, right? We don't know exactly what's going on in that household, but let's just say she really does need the help. She's coming in, she can tell her mom's not showering, she's in the same clothes, maybe there's some odors in the house, and she's really concerned. Or she's calling that daughter all the time, not the one that has decision-making authority. And it's become a real problem. She's really concerned. So there are a few things. I would definitely reach out to some professionals, perhaps her doctor, if that's allowed. You could take her to the doctor. Just say that you're a little concerned. Maybe they can look at what her levels of functioning are. And the doctor, you can make the doctor the bad guy, make some recommendations. Or we can have an organization such as the USC Center for Aging Resources, or Resource, I might get those words confused, but to ask for some additional help too. But sometimes if it's that obvious and maybe the sibling is neglectful or not wanting to spend the money, or they're just not able to see the situation, sometimes it starts with a call to APS, Adult Protective Services. So hopefully that could be something where you can really sit down with your sibling, talk about specifically what you're seeing and what your concerns are, and maybe you can elevate that support with an advisor to come in and just support your family and guide you with maybe some little teeny resources to start, and then see where that goes. But I see it fairly often. It's a little frustrating, especially for the person who is seeing what is not right. So I hope that helps. And certainly they can call the office 626-359-0108, and we can support them in some kind of direction for a resource. So tough.
Yeah, definitely. I think having like a third party come in would be very helpful, right? Because then they're not vested in any one, like an angle, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So get an independent opinion and see where it goes from there. I actually had a lovely family I met with yesterday, and he had been very resistant to the care, did not see that he needed anything. The kids did, but he didn't see that he needed any care, and he had a little setback with a fall, and I think it frightened him a little bit, so he was open. But usually a really good care manager can come into the situation and really kind of diffuse the fear and that angst of having somebody in my life now and everything's going to tumble down. It's
Right.
let's look at how we keep you strong and prevent anything more from happening, and making sure that you're protected and where you want to be. So
Right.
but it's hard. It's hard to accept help. We're not a culture that does that. So um,
Yeah.
that's just a thought, something to try. So
Sounds
should we
good.
go on to our birthday, and we'll have, do you have a day in history for us
I
later on?
do. It's
All
very
right.
appropriate for a local for our location too. So
Oh, nice. Okay. Sounds great. All right. Well, I will find our birthday here, and we'll go ahead and we'll meet you later.
all right. Have a great show. Looking forward to
Thanks.
your guest.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. We're very lucky. All right. Here we go. We have a very special birthday today. It doesn't look like it's the best picture, and it doesn't show our beautiful lady, Ms. Jean Trump, on the occasion of her 100th birthday. But they made a major convoy with the fire department. It's probably a really great celebration for them to show up for a 100th birthday versus for any kind of medical attention that somebody might need. But she lives over at the Arlene Court, and with full lights and sirens going, those responders were there to wish her a happy birthday in person. Her family was there, and her husband Ted was the former mayor of Fanwood, and her son David, who now cares for her, is a former city councilman. So apparently the family likes to really give back, part of the Lions Club and so many other things. So Jean says, thank you so much for my noisy birthday wishes. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have a fantastic birthday, Miss Jean, and many, many more. So let's see, we're going to go on to our fantastic guest today. We are going to talk with Dr. Navarro. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. I guess I should create an intro for guests. But she is absolutely amazing, mentor to many, and just a source of solace and support for hundreds. Fantastic. Dr. Navarro, how are you today?
Good morning. It's so great to be with you. I love your show, Mary.
It is. So tell me about the USC Verdugo Hills Resource Center for Aging. Tell us all about it.
You know, it's such a mouthful. I'm trying to think. Well, we're a community resource center. I think that's a thing to remember. And we were created really with a focus on the quality of life for older adults, older persons in our LA County area. And I had a couple of slides. I don't know, are those possible to show or?
Yes, let me see. I should be able to pull those up. Let's see. Here we go.
So I've been a longtime educator in social work, and I got this opportunity to consult with Verdugo Hills Hospital to create a resource center for aging. And so we started during the pandemic. And my little catch phrase here is social care to complement your health care. Because I think you and I know there's so many services and supports that people need to age well, right?
Yes.
And to really be successful in their journey. So let's see if you can go to the next slide. I've just wanted to let you know, so we're a part of the hospital. This is a nonprofit hospital. We actually are owned by Keck Medicine out of USC. I think a lot of people have driven by USC Verdugo Hills Hospital on the way to the movies or up in the foothills there. And it's been beautiful with a little snow here and there. But anyway, so what we do is a lot of phone work, really. We answer calls and we do a brief assessment on the phone, what we call a consultation. And then our goal is really to navigate and help people know about different services, how they work, names and numbers for services near them. We have a web page, and so I put that here. And if you go to the next slide, I have some more for you, just a little bit. I wanted to highlight that we have 3 different services that actually have been to complement the work we do on the phone. And yesterday we launched a grief and loss beyond blue support group. We've done a few of these now, and boy, certainly needed during so much more loss has occurred because of the pandemic. And
Yes.
yeah, so we had 16 people get together yesterday to launch our 6-week program with them, which is great. And I'll mention these 3 programs, and if you have questions about any of them, we can talk a little more as time allows. I think you know about our Caregivers Night Off, which is a 2-hour respite get together once a month in partnership with the YMCA of La Cañada, La Crescenta. And this has been really fun. We have a volunteer that really helped found our resource center, and she's just got panache and creativity. And so this is an event where people come and have a little refreshment, and generally we separate people with early memory loss and then people that are caregivers, so that they can both get a little bit time apart from each other. But
yeah, it's important to refresh.
Exactly, get a little refreshment, see others. And we partner with Alzheimer's Los Angeles on this as well, do a little memories in the making a lot of times. A real fun one we had recently was a Neil Diamond impersonator. And he sang some songs, and people were singing along, and we just had a good time. So that's been a fun monthly event. And then I guess what I wanted to tell you today was that I've worked with one of our volunteers. He was certified recently in guided autobiography, which was founded by Jim Beeren, the first dean of the USC, excuse me, School of Gerontology, the Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. He has several books, but this one is about the fabric, it's backwards probably, huh? But exploring the fabric of life, guided autobiography groups for older adults. And I got to take that during my graduate years, and he actually in his 90s was teaching it. It was really special. So Jerry recently got certified to lead the groups, and so we have been partnering with the libraries, and we're going to be launching a couple of groups where people can write about their life story and share it with a small group to
That's
both
great.
have more connection with one another, as well as to create a little legacy gift you can give to your family if you want. So if people have
a legacy. Yeah, it is a gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was so in Jerry's training, he created his own, and he had some really fun. God, I can't remember the title of one of them, but it was really a kick, just your opinions and thoughts and experiences over life, can really be special. So I'm finding that that's a way that we can enhance, people's lives by sort of integrating your life story and giving you a chance to reminisce and be validated. And so I'm excited. I think it's a great partnership with our public libraries. So
that's great. Yeah. Oh, really fun. And then you have some other programs. You have a grief program, I think, too, right?
Yeah, the grief group that I was mentioning that we launched yesterday, that's a grief support. Yes, so grief services and supports. We remind people, that this is a process, and if you're lucky enough to have love in your life, right, you're going to have grief. So, yeah, it's been really special. And I guess what I would say, it really helps this service. I can say we have on our webpage some different, pages of resources. And so this is another page we have there, or you can talk to one of us about your story and what's going on, with any loss that you're experiencing. And then we occasionally do the grief, support group, Beyond Blue. The next slide I have has sort of all the different pages that we have of resources. Is that handy?
Let me bring that back up.
I think it's the one right before. Was it before that? Maybe. Yeah, this will be the last one I need to show. But it has our webpage, and what's nice, if you scroll down our webpage, these individual topics have a whole It's very kind of mom and pop, but very not that technical. But you open up like Brain Health. You click on that, and it opens up a number of resources in our area. And you can see on that, that bottom of the first column there is grief and loss. So we do have some other community resources there. So these are just a few resources, but we want people to have them handy. If it might be the middle of the night and you're thinking about these things, you can search around and see if there's some services that will be of assistance to you.
Oh no, that's great. That's really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully I typed this correctly. But I'm adding a little scroll at the bottom of our conversation here. So if you're listening, you can't see that it says USC, Verdugo Hills. It didn't add all of the resource program name in there, but it's 818-949-4033.
You got it.
You might even get Dr. Navarro there. So.
Yes, I work on Fridays, and my partners are wonderful. We've all been around the block. Denise Trabulsi is an MSW that works with us 2 days a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and May Ross is also she's worked at the USC Roy Ball, and she's with us on Monday and Wednesday. And we always try to keep a student in the mix as well, so that we can keep training and mentoring others. We also have medical students come and visit us, which has been fun as well. So
I think it's important too, because I think the medical is obviously huge in what you're doing there and important to our health and so on and so forth. And you have good doctors there. But I think it's really interesting. Years and years ago, I had a pediatrician that I was interviewing, and he said, I knew everything about how to keep your baby well. I didn't know anything about getting your baby to sleep. I didn't know anything about burping a baby, or just some of how to dress the baby so it doesn't cry. And he said, I just immediately turned and looked to those moms who had 3 or 4 or 5 kids in my waiting room and said, how do you get your child to sleep? And that's how he was able to learn more of the social side of what is so important to supporting the families. And that's exactly what you're doing by bringing your doctors in. You're giving them that exposure to the social support that is also so important. And I think they want that too. They want to be able to be a good resource for their patients. So amazing work that you're doing there. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. So, it's really fulfilling, I have to say. And I learn from every caller. You learn more every time you're invited in to hear someone's situation and their story. So very heartening work. Yeah.
It is. It is. So tell me a little bit about a typical day there. I remember in the past you saying, well, just in a matter of a few hours, I spoke to this person about this and this person about that. Tell me about some of the things that you're solving for people you're directing them to in regards to services there.
Sure. I mean, I think sometimes we're supporting a caregiver, or we're supporting, an individual themselves, or sometimes it's a provider, a social worker, or a nurse or physician. All of those individuals will call us and try to get advice about what's available, or what services and supports are there for certain situations. I know, caregiving is something I've worked for a long time with caregivers, and it can be so, it can be really special, precious time, and yet it can also be very exhausting and pulls you away from your own life goals, and really can be a burden at times. So, and a little scary, right? When people have new behaviors that you're not familiar with, and it's that's not the person that you have loved for so many years. It's so changed. But so I think sometimes, something that's hard to kind of quantify is just having someone listen, and witness what you're going through and be able to kind of hear. And so we're good at that. We have time to take time with callers and to assess what's going on best, that they want us to. But after we can hear your story a little bit, then we can suggest resources you might not have thought of, or actually sometimes it's validating all the wonderful things that you're doing. And I think that's reassuring to know, gee, I called these 3 numbers. Is there anything else I should be doing? And basically, we can talk about what we know. Of course, we don't know everything.
Right. And I think the guilt is so tremendous too. Like they're not doing it good enough, well enough. And I think that so many caregivers just put so much of their heart into it, and they really need validation to understand that what you're doing is as much as you can do.
Yeah.
And I love that you're having the caregiver night out, because I think it's so important for caregivers to replenish themselves. Just even like in daily life, we need a vacation, and
Yeah.
that way our thoughts can go become more creative. We relax, we have time to ourselves to enjoy a little bit, and then jump right back into what we need to do. But I think it's so helpful to caregivers, and I hope that people will reach out to you and make sure that they're taking advantage of that. It's important for their loved one too. I think it's important for them to have a little variation in their day and some exposure to others, and to know that you can depend on others. That's the other thing. We were talking about our caller this morning who just, we need second opinions sometimes. We just need some extra help.
Some of the family dynamics get pretty complex, don't they?
And,
so it's like, what are some avenues I can take here when it gets a little bit complex and messy? Yeah.
Exactly. And every story is different. That's what is also so interesting. Every family is different. Every situation is different. And every human body is different. So it's really wonderful to be part of that.
I love that you have our webpage going across the bottom. I just wanted to note that there's just one C. So it's
okay. Let me change it.
VHH.org. So it's USC Verdugo Hills Hospital is kind of what that's standing for. But
one C.
If you find our USC pages, you can then go to Aging Resources. And, you know, I just wanted to put a little the word out. I've been so impressed with Verdugo Hills, and that they have a lot of physical therapy for outpatients, you know, get up and go and balance classes. They have cardiac rehab, which has kind of gone away in a lot of hospitals.
It has. I did not know you had it. In fact, the last time I looked for a client from Pasadena, it was Burbank area. So that's fantastic that you have something in La Cañada.
It's very it's a small group, and they create a community. And so that's really special. And employees can actually use the equipment too. But you're right there with a nurse, you know, somebody to oversee and set up your program. And I think physicians need to refer you to cardiac rehab.
Somebody.
Yeah. But again, if you need more information, we have that. What else? There's just and our Stepping Stones program for those that are feeling anxiety, depression. I think there was a recent, I don't know if you got to the open house. There was a recent open house of Stepping Stones, but they have in-person groups again. And so we have a nice team over there as well doing geropsych.
It's so valuable. I have had clients go there, and it's been a tremendous support for their families as well as the individual. And honestly, who isn't having some level of anxiety now that we're coming out? I feel like a mother bird kind of pushing people out of the nest, and we have to, come on, let's talk. It's time to come out.
Yes, it's been hard to time that for, a lot of individuals are still pretty isolated, you know.
So, I know. In fact, my own mom, when I said, okay, Mom, my son's getting married, and I said, got your room booked? We have to fly where his wedding is. And she said, no, I'm just kind of used to being by myself now. We'll work on this. This is not going to happen. I'm not going to force this today, but we'll set little commercials to make this a fun event that she'll eventually be excited to leave for. But
sounds like special memories ahead to make.
Yes. But you know, when it's my own mom too, it's like, oh boy, and she's a very social person. So when I know that when she's a little bit of a barometer for her not wanting to go out, I know a lot of seniors are feeling like they don't or shouldn't be out. So we gotta fix that.
Yes.
Well, you are welcome to stay with us till the end of the show if you like, or if you need to take off, you're welcome to do that too. But why don't you mention your phone number one more time? And
sure. We're at the hospital, and it's 818-9. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, 818-949-4033, and that's the USC Verdugo Hills Hospital Community Resource Center for Aging. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
And
And I hope
everything's
everybody
free,
will.
by the way. Everything's free.
I know everything's free. I think that's what I have in my title for you too. All this for
Uh,
free. That's great.
Thanks to a Navigate Foundation. Yeah. So I should
Yes,
put that out
Navigate
there,
is a
right?
supporter with a grant, and
Yeah.
I know you are a nonprofit, so please, if you are interested in supporting resources like this, please reach out and make your donations, because lots of
Thank you.
people are benefiting from this, and let's make sure that we have lots more so that are benefiting, because it's a fantastic program. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Navarro, and come
Okay.
back anytime.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mary, for all you do. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I just I think that we're like on a little bit of a freeze, but I think she does a fantastic job. In fact, I know the whole team does a fantastic job there. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring in our Melinda to talk about some nutrition and some things that we definitely need to know about. So hold on just a second and we'll have her on. Here we go. All right. How are you this morning? I feel like we're back and we have a real show today with Dr. Navarro, and you're on, and everyone's on. It's great.
I know. I was excited for today because I'd missed a few weeks. So
I know. I know.
Yeah.
So tell us, give us some great information.
I wanted to talk a little bit today about, and I know you'll love this topic, Mary, about getting ahead of your health. Getting ahead of your
I do like
healthcare.
that topic.
You know, at the Strength Shop, we are helping people a lot with osteoporosis and osteopenia, which is one of the silent diseases.
Mm-hmm.
And we call a silent disease because typically we don't know that we have something. It's kind of underlying until it becomes a real problem. And that's certainly the case with osteoporosis. Usually, unless somebody is getting screened and they're getting those DEXA scans to see what their bone density is regularly, I think every 2 years is what's recommended. They don't really know that they're losing bone at such a rate until somebody breaks a bone. And by that
Exactly.
time, obviously, that's what I would consider too late. So it's really about getting in for those healthcare screenings for osteoporosis specifically, but for anything. And if you kind of Google silent diseases, there's lists
I
and
like
lists
that.
of things that are underlying issues that don't necessarily cause symptoms that people experience, but that are working underneath, kind of chipping away at our health and reducing our lifespan. So it's about getting ahead of those
So
things.
true. I have to share this. I feel
Yes.
very compelled to do this, and it's about screening. But I went to go check on, I have fair skin, and I had this little freckle or whatnot that just kind of changed a lot. And it's just time to go in and get a screening. She said, this is definitely weird. Turned out to be cancer. And so went through the process of having it removed and so forth. Have been telling all my friends. So all of you out there,
Yep.
you have to listen to this. Then another friend of mine said, I have this thing that's kind of suspect on my neck, cancer, melanoma. And so he's going through some treatment right now for that. But actually, I heard somebody else talk about some little spot that they had and how it changed so fast. And I thought, well, I should get mine. So please do these screenings. It's so important. We do this with our clients as well. We make sure that we have a big checklist of things that we're looking at. I'll have to look at your list of silent diseases too, because that'll be something that we add to that. But something so easy to fix if you're doing routinely, and if it doesn't get out from under you, this was a simple fix for me.
Yeah.
On my events, but
the simple fix too. Sorry, you froze for a second there, and I was
like, yeah, I know it's a freezing day.
The simple fix too is to kind of understand our background, your family background, so your family history, and just to kind of get ahead of those things as well. If there's a family history of something that you may be at risk for, certainly there's a lot of tests that will tell you what your genes are, your genes specifically are at risk for. But I think that this getting ahead of your health is important even in our every, day to day, every, certainly those screenings every year, but also if you think about dehydration, which is a major, it can be a major issue for older adults, especially.
For sure.
Dehydration, by the time we feel thirsty or dizzy or any other nauseous.
We're dehydrated.
Yeah, but by that time it's too late. And I know people who have suffered from dehydration, they know that once you're at a certain level of dehydration, you can't just drink water. You'll throw it up.
Right.
It has to be done before you get to that
Which is
that
probably
point.
why there's so many mobile IV centers now too, which is also very interesting. It's become a brand new business that I'm seeing pretty commonly out there.
Yeah.
There are probably 4 in the LA County area, and I don't think they existed 2 years ago. I may be wrong, but they're out and about. So yeah, that's a great point.
And they're effective. I've done it. I've been to one. I tried it out. I test drove it, and I had a vitamin B12 shot added to my. It was one of those things you get the vitamins that you want. You choose recovery or whatever, and then as a new client, they'll say, "Do you want the extra B12?" And you're like, "Oh, sure." And it was like 4:00 when I did this. I was up all night. I didn't sleep that night.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And if you are low on vitamin B, you have to have it injected. It's not something that you can just take under your tongue from Trader Joe's and expect that your vitamin B levels are going to come back. And we see people become immobile. They're horrible, horrible effects, losing your memory, horrible effects from all the B vitamins and having a lack thereof, or too much. Our body is meant to be balanced. And so if we have too much of something, sodium, any of these things, we will, magnesium.
Too much B12, you won't sleep at night.
Yeah, there you go.
I probably didn't need that, but it's okay. Yeah, so that I think that's a big tip for today.
I love it. I love it. So everyone should Google silent diseases and getting ahead of your health. I love that. And honestly, if you're doing blood tests at least once a year, which you should, when the doctor says, "Oh, you're just a little low, I'm not worried about it," it's like, you need to worry about it, because that means you don't need to worry about it, but you need to do something about it. Don't listen to the doctor to say, don't worry. That means you really need to look specifically at what those things are and what you need to change, what needs to be improved. If you're looking at your A1C and it's like right on the border, let's talk about what we can do to change these things. Let's look at what, if we have some different minerals or different things. Red blood cell. Why are my red blood cells low? Why is my hemoglobin low? Do I have a tear? I've had a history of ulcers. Let's look into some of these things. So I think it's really important to look at these silent diseases. I love this. So I hope everyone will do that.
Yeah. And it's any age, as you were talking about the skin cancer, my brother had skin cancer when he was in his 30s. It's any age.
It doesn't care what age you are. It really doesn't. Well, how about we add Steve on? We're going to talk about, I think it's National Tater Day or something. Let's see. There we go. Here we go. Did he come in?
Hey, Steve.
It's birthday.
Hello. Long time no see.
I know. Steve and I got to work out together yesterday. I was
nice.
for Zach.
So it is.
And we had a session. So
it was great.
Yeah, it was really fun to see you, Steve.
Don't tell Zach.
Yeah.
So it is International Tater Day. And the pun is I worked at a potato farm for 1 week before they gave me the sack. Maybe not the best one, but it is National Tater Day. And you know what? This is a life-sustaining food for a lot of countries. And there's our word search for that too. So If you want the daily perk, just reach out to Ginny at 626-359-0108 or Ginny, Ginny, at aboutseniorsolutions.com, and she will get the perk out to you for free, and you can send it to whoever you want. You could bring it to your mom somewhere. You can give it to your kids or your grandkids to play with. You can do it too, because there's some fun brain games on the back, but it's just a nice little discussion piece if you are just looking to start a conversation. Just a nice way to start. So tell us, Steve, what is today's day in sports?
Today's day in sports. The year was 1975. It was the 10th and final NCAA championship that UCLA won under John Wooden. They beat the Kentucky Wildcats 82-75. At the time, it was a 32-team tournament. So now it's March Madness. It starts, beginning of March. It's 64 teams plus these playing games. So back then, it was a much smaller tournament, and UCLA and John Wooden dominated college basketball. In the span of 12 years, they won 10 NCAA championships. And so March 31st, 1975, that was the last game that John Wooden coached. He had announced his retirement a couple of days before the game, and they ended up winning the national championship, and he went out on top, as he should. Best college coach probably in any sport ever.
That's great. And actually, a friend of mine, Jennifer, her dad, Carl Bolt, played under Coach Wooden, and he spent a lot of time with him in his later years too, which was really rewarding for him, and I think a nice way for Coach Wooden to be able to spend some time with his past mentees, because he really was a mentor to his players. An incredible.
He was a great coach. He was actually a great player too. He was a 3-time All-American in college, and was, I think, one of the first, if not the first, person to be 3-time All-American. So just an amazing person. Has, like you said, a great mentor, and the life lessons that he taught to his players, I think, far exceeded anything that he taught them on a court.
Yeah. Only if you did your best, right?
Yep.
One of his phrases. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend.
Enjoy spring.
Yeah, we're gonna get some spring weather, hopefully.
Right.
All the April. Well, we'll have April Fools on Monday or Saturday too. So
tomorrow.
All
right. Oh, that's tomorrow.
Don't get fooled. All right. Have a great one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.